Hi, welcome back to another episode of Hobby Business. For the last 2 weeks, I have been eyes deep in a massive 500,000 card collection that I bought. And I wanted to tell you the story about how it all worked out and some of the lessons I learned, and also kind of walk through my process. I also want to show off some cool cards that I picked up in the collection. I've been listing cards that I've been pulling out of the collection in my eBay store. I'll put a link to the eBay store in the description. And please know, if anybody that watches this ever sees anything they like, I have offers on everything I have in my store. And I am always willing to make deals. So just when you send an offer, just drop a little note. Hey, watch your channel, and let's make some deals. So, anyways, so the one thing I would say that was good is I had two options. Whenever I look at a collection, I want to be able to have something to compare it to. It's always nice to have two choices. It really helps crystallize what makes the most sense for you. So the first collection that I went and viewed, here's a picture of it from my phone. It was a storage locker collection, and it was in my area. Here's a picture I took from it, and it was a storage locker full of cards. I was allowed to view the collection, look at it, and then the individual who was selling it was going to do a Zoom type auction at a given time and day. This was one of the collections that I was looking at purchasing, and a couple of things that really stood out to me: that the individual is a really nice person, but I was able to flip through some of the things. I'd find some key years like 84 Donruss I flipped through a binder of, and the Mattingly card wasn't there. The way that the binders were stacked, like here, kind of putting pressure on the bins down below, that gave me some pause as well. So big collection, very nice individual, but I was concerned overall about the condition of what was going to be there. Also, the fact that the collection went from a house into a storage unit, which means that the collection could have been gone through on its way from home into a storage unit to put. So that was the first collection I looked at. The second collection I looked at, I don't have a picture of because it was in a person's home, and I did take some pictures, but I don't really want to show those because it's of their home, inside their home, and that's I don't feel appropriate for sharing that. Anyways, it was a collection that had a lot of complete sets, lots of binders. The first thing I thought about was, wow, this individual is extremely organized. It was in the basement. The basement was dry. Everything was raised up. Nothing was on the ground. Things were on shelves. And things were all kind of spread throughout the basement. There was some piled up on a workbench, boxes and boxes, and there was other boxes on shelves. And then there were also some cards that were in the garage. Because the collection was so spread out, it was hard to imagine how much total was there. So I viewed the collection, went home and told them I would, kind of review what I had seen. I had taken some pictures, and that I would send an offer. I ended up sending two offers. It was such a large collection that, to put an offer to buy everything, I didn't know where that would be at. So I only had a limited amount of time looking at everything. I came up with a number that I knew it would take some work to get back to that number, but that I was pretty safe that given time, effort, and energy, there was enough there of high quality, low dollar cards that I would be able to get back to even and then to profitability as I went. So I put forth an offer that was for everything. I'm going to keep that number to myself. And then I also put forth a smaller number and said, I could buy a portion of the collection at this price, and then maybe, another portion some point in time in the future. So I submitted that offer, and the individual came back, and they came back at $75 above what the total offer was to buy everything. I was totally fine with that. I put forth what I thought was a strong offer from what I knew. And then, they just wanted a little bit more, and I wasn't going to let that stand in the way of a deal. So I ended up purchasing the second collection. Here is an image of one of my cards full of the collection. So that's half of it. And then the other half of the collection is here. So 2 carloads full of cards. And the reason I picked one collection over the other, even if it was the same price, the organization of the collection, the way that it was taken care of, it just all fit very well. Now, while I've been opening this collection, I have found a ton of surprises in it, and cards I didn't know were going to be in, sets of cards that I didn't know were in from the beginning. And the individual told me, there's lots of really great stuff in there. I think you're going to be really happy with lots of surprises. So this collection has not disappointed. I've had a great time. I've also secured the first card I'm ever going to submit myself for grading, and wanted to share a couple of these cards with you, and then just kind of recap some of the lessons I learned. One, having the alternative really helped me. If I went out and just looked at that storage unit collection, I was excited to look at it. I was excited about the prospect of all these cards and what might be in there. But if I didn't compare it to have anything else to compare it to, I might have made an offer, and I might have ended up buying it, and I might have totally struck out and had a ton of time, effort, and energy that I'd have to dedicate through that. I went with the more organized collection, the cleaner collection, and the collection that was in the individual's house too. So it wasn't gone through and picked over, and I think that's a really good thing. So first piece of advice I would say is, when you look at a collection, it could be very exciting. Always think of what's an alternative. Kind of like when you're shopping for a car. If you're looking, to buy a Toyota Corolla, it's always good to go check out a Honda Civic, right? Have something to compare it to. So other people might say, view each collection and each transaction individually, and I can totally appreciate that, and that's a valid perspective. I just know myself, for me, I get excited at every possibility. So being able to have choices was good, because I don't have unlimited amounts of money to be buying collections. I have to spend my dollars wisely, and I need to pick one over the other. And then it helps. It helped me not make emotional decisions. So that's the first thing. The second thing I would think of is, make sure that you're prepared for how much effort and energy it's going to take to sort through everything. Have an exit plan that makes sense for you. For me right now, I've gone through about, I'd say maybe 200,000 cards so far sorted. And I've donated a lot of the common cards that I just don't have room for, that wouldn't be worthwhile selling on in my eBay store. I'm pulling the stars and the key rookies and cool inserts and things that I think can sell for a couple bucks. and then everything else I'm moving on. So I'm actually breaking up complete sets, pulling out the cards that I think I like and that will move, and then I'm donating all of the other cards to Goodwill. And then hopefully those find their way to the hands of other collectors. It's just too much cards to have in my house to keep everything, and I'd never be able to process through it all and try to sell it all. So the other thing I've thought of is building like team lots and trying to sell those. I'm not saying that's not a bad idea. I just don't have the time to do that. So I am happy pulling the cards I think that are strong enough to sell on their own and then donating the rest. Maybe selling a big bulk deal makes sense for somebody else. But for me, that's not what I'm going to do. Anyways, if you've gotten this far, I'm going to show you some of the cards that have been pulled. Now, some of the big ones I've pulled have already sold and have moved on in their collection. I've been extremely happy with the surprises along the way, and it's been a blast. It's also been a lot of hard work, but let's check it out. So here is my first ever Tom Brady rookie card. I'm going to send this card off to get graded, and I'm really excited to see what happens with that. Here is, the collector's card. Bill Ripken. This guy, if he didn't have a bat nubbed that was, adorned with some interesting language, he probably would not be remembered. But he is, and so the famous error card, or infamous error card, is there, and it's pretty cool. This Pujols Gold Cup card is also an error card. I didn't learn that until I purchased this collection and saw it. I believe it's Placido Polanco on the back here. So I've pulled quite a few Pujols rookie cards out of this collection, and now has been a good time to sell Albert Pujols cards. So here is an Upper Deck Star Rookie Pujols card. Someone might think about grading a card like this. For me, I'm gonna strike while the iron's hot. Post it. It is posted in my eBay store, and if you see it and you want to make an offer, happy to look at it. Always happy to move things. One of the best things I'll say is buying a big bulk collection. It allows me to move cards for below comps because I'm into it for a lot less than somebody else might be. So, if the current market on a card is $75, $80, $85, and somebody sends me a $60 offer in a card that I bought out in a collection, I'm gonna sell it. I'm gonna sell it, and I'll be happy to move along. So, and I've done that multiple times already. Here's an Ichiro Upper Deck Star Rookie. It's pretty cool. Here's a fun Shaq card. You can see Upper Deck. Just a cool card. This Michael Jordan card, lots of low dollar Jordan stuff. This one I really like. You can see the 4 on it, so he's in his 45 jersey on this one, and it is the MJ1. What's that, 95 Upper Deck card. So yeah, really cool. Really like it. Here's another one of those Ripken cards. This Derek Jeter card I think is really cool. It's a rookie roll call. 95 Pinnacle Zenith Edition. So pretty cool. These 90 cards, one of the blasts has been, the majority of this collection is from the mid-90s, early 90s, some in the 80s and some in the 2000s, but mostly in the 90s. So a ton of sparkle, a ton of shine, a ton of just fun cards. Here's the Leaf Griffey card, and you can see it's in the thick screw down case. So there was about 4 or 5 of these, which was nice. And then here is the card that this was the biggest card I ever pulled as a kid. My dad owned a card shop in Chicago, and I used to get a pack of cards for taking the garbage out. And I remember one day I pulled a Frank Thomas Leaf rookie card out of a pack, and I was so excited. Held on to that card for about 30 years or so. Sold it a year or two back as I was growing my eBay store. And yeah, now I have another one. It's really cool. Really love this card. It's actually, I could keep it. It's one of those things where, you know, I'd be happy keeping it, but I'm also happy to generate activity in the eBay store and get this card into the hands of another collector. So it's posted right now. I have it at auction in my eBay store. So to wrap up, what I'd like to say is, you know, look at your, you know, opportunities that are out there for you. Think about what makes the most sense for you. And when you're purchasing a bulk collection, just don't underestimate the amount of work that's going to go into it, and have fun along the way with it. I can tell you right now, if you don't enjoy sorting cards and looking through thousands and thousands of cards to pull out, you know, hundreds of cards, then maybe buying a huge bulk collection isn't for you. For me, just a transparency update. Like I said, I've sorted through about a little over 200,000 cards, I would guess, right now, and have probably about 22,000 of those, I think, are eBay store worthy. So it's been a big success for me. The Tom Brady rookie card, I am going to send off for submission, and I will do a video when that comes back. I'm putting together a little stack of cards that I'm going to submit for my first time ever, and look forward to seeing what happens there. So I hope this video was helpful in some way, or at least entertaining. If you liked it, hit the like button, drop a comment below. I look forward to providing more updates along the way, and I'll hope you have a great day.